In this video, I want to show you what happens when you normally plug in a BeagleBone Black. So here I have a BeagleBone Black, and I'm just going to plug it in to my Ubuntu laptop here, and it's going to load that USB multi-module. So it'll take just a little bit, and what you'll see, my computer is going to display a message saying that it's connected another network device, and as you can see, it's also pulled up the boot partition from my eMMC, and there you have it. It's connected to wired connection 2, and here's my boot partition. It's not a lot on it, and it's done again so that you can recover a broken system, so you can go in there and fix something you screwed up on the boot. So here I am on my computer. If I do an LSUSB, I will notice here's that new Linux Foundation multifunction gadget. And if I do an if config, I will see, sure enough, here's ETH2. It's statically assigned IPs, and it will give you 7.1 on the PC side and 7.2 on the BeagleBone side. So if I do a ping, there it is. Great. So that's the default behavior. So what if we want to export a drive? So first I'm going to SSH into my BeagleBone. I'm going to run a script. And again, what do you see? You see on my Ubuntu laptop that it was disconnected because that device has gone away. And what showed up on my other screen today is here is a multiple partition from that device. So this all worked. So let me go and open a shell on my Linux machine. But if I do a mount, I'm going to see right here, I have a read-only mount just as I want it. So there you have it. I have exported a thumb drive that was plugged in to my BeagleBone Black to a PC as read-only. So now you've gone onto the system, you've used all the tools that you had on your thumb drive, which was mounted as read-only. You've killed antivirus and all those other things, and it's time to exfiltrate some data. So how can you do that? Well, you just need to remount your drive as readable and writable, like so. Done. I go back to my PC, you'll notice my PC popped up this drive. I also will get reconnected on my Ethernet here on my laptop. If I run mount, you will see that sure enough, there you have it. I now have a readable and writable partition that has been exported from the thumb drive attached to my BeagleBone Black. And it was that simple. All right, so now let's have some fun with some USB impersonation. So I'm going to go ahead and run LSUSB, and now I'm going to plug in a SanDisk drive. And I'm going to rerun LSUSB. You can see that it mounted successfully. Here it is. So I want this to impersonate something else. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to do that using my BeagleBone Black. So let me go ahead and unplug this, and I'll plug in the BeagleBone Black. All right, so now I've logged on to my BeagleBone Black, and I'm going to go ahead and run my script. And I'm going to let it run through a couple of these. And you can see that it's mounted. I'm not actually blocking in this case, but if you see my talk at DEFCON 20, you know about how all that works and everything. So now if I go back to my Linux machine, I will see that sure enough, if I run my LSUSB, boom, my little SanDisk drive has suddenly become a Kingston drive. So there you have it. I was able to do this with a microcontroller based device and some custom coding, and now I've done the exact same thing with a little bit of shell scripting in a BeagleBone Black. So now we're going to go ahead and create our HID device. So first I'm going to run my script, create HID, and if I go back now to my Linux system and I do an LSUSB, I will see a new device. Now Linux is a little bit smarter than Windows. So for the Linux devices, it just comes up and it says 1337, 1337, because it will actually look it up. If you give it a fake vendor and product ID, it'll say, no, that's not right. I know that that's not right. So it's, as in general is the case, it's a lot smarter than Windows. So there you have it. I have my vidpid. Now if I do an ls USB-V-D on 1337, you'll see it gives me a bunch of information. And right here it tells me this is in fact a HID and it's a keyboard. So I've created the USB HID device, but we haven't done anything useful with it yet. And in order to do that, we can run our Python script. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this script I've attached to my Linux computer. And boom, I just ran a bunch of stuff. You didn't even see it. It was so fast. Now if I do an lstxt, you'll notice that I created a new file, hacked, and another one called got your passwords. So if I cat hacked, I see it says you are so hacked. And if I cat got your passwords, it in fact brings up my password file. So there you have it. Pretty simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and attack Windows. And there you have it. By the way, I sent a command to flip the screen, which didn't work in this case because it's running in a virtual box, but normally it would have. If I log back in and I look at my documents, I see a new file.